What's going on? What's going on to all my embracers? It's Thursday night. You know what it is. You know what we be doing here on Embrace the Grayson on the JVJ network. So tonight is going to be a show that should be something of informing and educational and something to like really look within and maybe a lot of people can relate to. So let me introduce myself. My name is Grace from Embrace the Grace, and thank you for anybody who is here, who is coming, who has been here, to all my embracers who have embraced me and been rocking with me since day one, A1, and to all my newcomers, welcome. Please press the like button upon your arrival. I would really appreciate your interaction, your comments, your support. There's my Cash App there. And I'm waiting on a couple more people to come up here, but let me talk to you a little bit about what Embrace the Grace channel is about. My channel is about having the topics that most people don't like to talk about, the topics that are usually swept underneath the rug, but everybody knows that they need to be talked about, they need to be embraced, but we just either too chicken shit to talk about it, make us too uncomfortable, but that's what it is over here. I am an advocate for men. I do, at the end of the day, I am a woman, so I do side with women, but what I don't do is uphold women in their bad behavior, their reckless behavior, their unaccountability, because I am tired of hearing women say that men ain't, that there are no good men left. But that's not the case. We over here try to turn the mirror on me and other women and see where the train wreck happened. Because all our lives are not horrible because of men. And if we really took the time to sit down and evaluate ourselves and internalize ourselves, we'll see that a lot of the things that go on in our lives are really about the choices that we make and are self-inflicted. And it's really easy to blame others, especially men, for our mishaps and our bad decisions and our miserable lives. But at the end of the day, it all starts within. So with that being said, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend, bring in people that you may think that may relate to this topic, because the topic tonight is about alcoholism in the household. Yeah, we all know we have that uncle, auntie that's an alcoholic in our family, but it's not talked about. Or we have that husband or that father that we grew up with that is an alcoholic and has really defined a lot of people who they are, or they themselves have become dependent on alcohol. So tonight we're gonna talk about the actual definition of what is an alcoholic. What are the effects of living with an alcoholic, and what are the effects of alcoholism? So there's a lot to talk about. This is a big bite to deal with because it affects a lot of us. And when I give you the statistics, I think some of y'all will be really surprised on just how many of us are affected by this. And look, I get it. I get it, everybody. We drink when we're celebrating. We drink when we're depressed. We drink just to be drinking. We drink when we're stressed. We drink to numb the pain. I mean, there's so many different reasons why we drink. And is it okay to drink? Absolutely. But with everything in life, it's in moderation. But it's when we take that drinking to the next level and it starts to affect us and others around us and our everyday lives and our every day-to-day function. So without further ado, let me introduce Smitty from Smitty's Corner. How you doing, sir?
I feel wonderful.
Good. I'm watching the game. I know your team is playing, so I will definitely keep you posted because I'm watching it right there. And I appreciate you coming on knowing that your team is playing. That's why I'm going to make it a point to let you know when things are happening because I got the game. I never understood it, but I don't need to hear a game. As long as I'm watching it, if you know the game of football, you don't need to hear it. But, that's
Nah,
neither here nor there.
yeah,
But
nah. I need to see and hear everything. Nah, I need to see that
yeah,
from
I hear you. I hear you. So Smitty,
what's going
introduce yourself. Tell people
on.
where we can find you, and we're gonna get right into it.
All right. Well, as always, reads, right? It's your boy Smitty. You can find me honestly wherever there's peace and solitude. All right. Uh, when grace pops up, definitely you'll catch me over here. And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. Let's go ahead and rock out.
Okay, so I always start off with a question. With a question, we get kind of personal here, and this is a safe
Fine.
space to be vulnerable. So, you'll answer it first, and then I'll come back around and answer it myself. First
Okay.
question is, Smitty, have you been around or know a person that you would consider an alcoholic?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Nice. Yes. I
Okay.
mean, you want me to
And
elaborate on that or like, cause
absolutely, because I want people to be able to relate to us and to be like, yeah, I got one of those, because I'm gonna talk about it too. You know.
so, um, alcoholism is something that definitely is very much so tremendously widespread in my family, primarily on my mother's side. Now, of course, yes, so on my father's side as well. But on my mom's side, yeah, that's like that's a thing. And so, it's just when you ask me that question, I'm just smiling like all these, memories of like Thanksgivings and Christmases and just cookouts, everything. Shoot, funerals, regular graduations, you name it. I definitely do have some aunts and uncles who I love so dearly, who I remember. I mean, like, there's not a picture of them without that cup in their hand. I mean, not a picture, you know? So, yeah, yeah, I definitely can identify.
Okay, okay. And on my side of the story, I can identify. You know, I had a beloved uncle. He was my godfather and my uncle, and he worked his ass off, took care of his family. But when he got off work, it was on. He would be lit, but he would still take care of his responsibilities. So he would be considered what we would say today a functional alcoholic. And he had his moments, but at the end of the day, I still respected him. You, as you grow older, you tend to see why they drink. You know, when we're
Mhm.
kids, we don't understand it. We think that they're celebrating. It's Christmas, it's Thanksgiving, it's Super Bowl. When it gets to the point where you're no longer recognize them or they do things out of character, then
Mhm.
that's when we're treading into the alcoholism street. And with that being said, let me give you guys what the definition of alcoholism is, and also considered as AUD, alcohol use disorder, the most
Mhm.
serious form of problem drinking at a level that causes harm to one's self-health, mentally, physically, and financially. It describes a strong and often uncontrollable desire to drink. According to statistics, alcohol is the most commonly used addictive substance in the US. 17.6 million people in the United States, or one of every 12 adults, are diagnosed with alcoholism, and millions more individuals engage in risky behaviors such as binge drinking that can potentially harm them. I'm gonna
Okay.
go a little bit deeper, Smitty. Defined by alcohol dependence, which is the body's physical inability to stop drinking, and the presence of alcohol cravings. Individuals
Mhm.
with an alcohol addiction may go to extreme measures such as stealing, lying, hiding alcohol, drinking household cleaners that contain, and other unhealthy behaviors to obtain alcohol due to the craving and the fear of withdrawal. That is what would be considered a person that falls under the definition of alcoholism, or let's keep it short, AUD, alcohol use disorder. It's the number one addictive you would think that it would be cocaine. You would think that it would be meth. You would think that it would be weed, but unfortunately, it's not. It's something that is legal. It's something that you can simply go into a store and buy without any problems. So it's a lot to talk about. We have another guest on the show. We have Mr. Simon Hector coming on, and Simon, we're gonna I know we're gonna keep it intellectual and respectful. Okay, Simon, and nice, short, sweet, into the topic. Okay, because we got a football game on, and I don't want it going over 2 hours. But with that being said,
So,
hi Braxton, how are you? Thank you for coming. So, with the definition that I just put out there, now that we can kind of grasp it a little bit more, what do you have to say about that?
yeah, that is absolutely crazy that you said that. Um, with the household cleaner stuff. So, I have a true story, right? So,
All
I
right.
remember I was uh I was staying at the halfway house. Like, so this is when I was transitioning back into society, the whole time. So we all on our sober stuff, right? And I'll never, ever, ever forget Jeff. Jeff was an older white guy. So Jeff,
Okay.
All of us there, been in for some time, the whole nine. Jeff was a hardcore alcoholic, and he used to make the what we call hooch. I don't know what they call it other places, but here we call it hooch. That's homemade liquor, basically in a trash bag
Moon,
in Jeff.
moonshine, like moonshine.
No, it's hooch. We'll get into that
Okay,
later. Yeah,
okay,
I'll break down the two later. So he was making some hooch, and what he did was he left out of the facility, and you get like little passes to go out and everything else. So he thought he was being slick, right? He thought he was being slick, and he went to the local CVS. Now, mind you, it's a shopping center, and his store's connected. So he's going to the
okay.
CVS instead of the liquor store. He goes to CVS. He gets 2 bottles of Listerine, and he guzzles the out of them bottles of Listerine.
Mm,
So I guess he was trying to do like a peppermint schnapps. So he went on ahead, he guzzled down the Listerine, went back to the facility, and they actually tested him. And yeah, he blew positive for alcohol, the whole nine, but he was that much of an alcoholic to the point where if he didn't have anything else, that was his thing to go out on a pass and buy Listerine just because it had alcohol in it. But yeah, I
and
digress. My mic is muted.
it's a high alcohol content with Listerine.
Yeah.
Good evening, good evening, Simon. How are you tonight? Are you there? And Braxton says, one of my aunts on my mother's side comes from a line of alcoholics. She lost a number of family members to the addiction. I'm sorry to hear that, Braxton, but that's how it is. It really
Hmm.
is. And I was looking into it about, is it hereditary? And you can actually carry the gene. So it's no surprise that you have generational alcoholics. The vicious cycle needs to be broken. And let me tell you
But you know
something,
what's
my
wild? But you know what's wild, real quick, Gracie,
what's
about
middle?
that whole
Yeah.
like the gene thing. The wild part
Hmm.
about that is that it can skip. Like, so for example, me, I drink, you know. Uh my mother drinks, my father doesn't. My dad, he don't do no alcohol. My mother drinks wine, her red wine and stuff. And my sisters don't, but I do. So all I'm saying is that me being in the middle, it didn't hit my sister, it hit me, and it didn't hit my youngest sister.
Okay.
You see, it's like it's real, real wild the way that whole genetic thing can work out. Literally, I look at it just like how hair or features could be. You know, you could have a child that has your hair or your eyes or something, whatever it may be, but then it may skip the other one, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's different.
I hear you. Simon, are you there? You're muted if you're trying to talk. Okay, so I guess he's not there, or he walked away. I'm gonna address you one more time, Simon. If you don't answer, I'm just gonna have to drop you, okay? No pun intended, but if you're not talking or speaking or engaging, there's no need for you to be on the panel. So with
Nah,
that being
Gracie, his mic could be messing up. Sometimes that happens with him. So,
oh,
if you, yeah, but you may need to drop him and bring him back up sometime.
okay. So they're talking about here that there's 4 types of alcoholics, 4 types of drinkers. Which one are you? You have your social drinker. They drink to date. Nearly all research on drinking motive has been done on teens and young drinkers. So your social drinkers, these are the ones that drink when you go out to dinner, when you go out on a date, when you go to a party, and you drink. But then you got your ones that drink to get obliviated, and then the party's over because you ruin it for everybody else. Let's see what Braxton had to say about this. And then you have the people that drink to conform. I would say that that's just to take the edge off, to conform themselves after having a hard day, and that's okay. But again, everything in moderation. And Braxton said, with another aunt of mine from that side passed away from drinking in 2008. Even though she went through physical marriage abuse and drinking, in spite of all that, she was still a caring person. I mean, I get it, Braxton. Just because you drink, that doesn't stop making you be a caring person, but it does change your characteristics while you're under the influence. And that's where it makes it dangerous. That's where it makes it abusive. If you're drinking because you're at an outing, you're tailgating, you're having fun, okay. But when you're drinking every day and you can't live without it, you can't function without it, and if you don't have it, you're lashing out at the dog, the kids, the wife. I mean, that's when it becomes an issue. And you know what, guys? I just want to let you know that a lot of my topics that I bring up, some of them, my embracers bring them to me. I need you to talk about this. I'm going to make my better half watch this and just make pretend that it happens to be a topic that you talked about. But this is something that I really want to talk to him about, but I can't. So the fact that I can be the bridge to gap people together, I love it. Because if I can change one person or have one person tonight after this show to make that phone call, Smitty, then we did what we're supposed to do. If we made one person really realize what they're doing and what damage is going on, then you and I, Smitty, did what we're supposed to do as content creators. Because it's not always about relationships. It's not always about current events. It's about things that are happening day to day. And let me put a disclaimer out there, Smitty, before you speak your thought. Alcoholism does not have a gender, does not have a race, does not have a creed or religion. It can hit anybody. But go ahead, Smitty. What did you want to say?
I just wanted to comment on, at least I would say, my personal experience when it comes to when you were saying how like alcohol isn't bad, but it changes you, right? Yeah. No. Alcohol didn't change anything. Alcohol, as we would call it, aka liquid courage, gives people the mindset that I can be who I truly am. So my point in that is, if you've lived long enough and you've been around enough situations with both getting lit and everything else, right, as we would say now, I've noticed how, I do know some folks where it's like, bruh, when you get to drinking, you get to saying belligerent stuff. You get to like real deal, like trying to cuss people out and this and that. And you get to violent and everything else. You do crazy shit. I know some folks where it's like, when they get twisted, I swear on life, that's the best time to ask them for a money loan, because they will give it to you, because they're naturally a giving person. So guess what? The alcohol just brought out the humanitarian in them, and they want to save the world. Oh, you need your light bill? I got you, bruh. No problem. And I'm serious. That's a real thing. So when it comes to like the whole like alcohol changes you, I'm just going to say personally, I do disagree with that, in the sense of, I noticed that it doesn't change them. It's just that you're not seeing the real side of them until they get them couple of shots up in them. Once they get them couple of shots up in them, now you're seeing exactly who they are in the raw, purest form. I digress. My
Okay.
mic is muted. Rock out.
Uh,
And I would agree with you. Silent, are you on? Are you here?
yeah, I'm here. I'm here, Mrs. What's going
How are
on?
you?
I'm I'm
How
just
are you,
saying,
sir?
like, I'm okay. How you looking out?
I'm
How
good.
you
I'm
work?
good. I'm
How you
here and
looking out? Yeah.
we're talking about alcoholism in the household. So what do you have to say about this? Say you.
I'll say, like, if I have a lady in my life and like she understands that I may pick up a drink after I get out of work and just want to divulge in that, and we can have a conversation about shit that we're going through, then that's cool. You know, alcoholism is something that I think most people they relate to things like homelessness or the appreciation in terms of like you can't actually get your shit together. The fact of the matter is I drink. I like a drink. Don't get me wrong. I like a drink.
You been
Yo,
drinking tonight, Simon?
I'm just saying. I'm just
Go
saying.
ahead. I'm sorry. Mhm.
Yo, where are we going with this conversation where we are not human? Yeah, I'm saying. Where you walk down the aisles of every supermarket and they are fucking wines. We talk about this stuff. We combine it with food. Okay, I love my food. I like to mix that shit up. You get rose wine and you want to mix it up and do some funky shit. Jesus, tastes spectacular.
Hey, ho. Wait, real quick. Just respectfully out of the show. So, like, alcoholism and how it's truly affected, your life or even somebody who you've seen around you. Now, we all know about, mixing food, making beer, batter, chicken, wine, cordon bleu, so on and so forth. But
Yeah,
what,
that
what,
that
what,
battle.
what is? I want us to connect where, because we're not talking about it necessarily in a fun way, although that can be thrown in, but more so like the detriment of these things. Because let's think about it, right? For the longest time, you have a lot of people, even down to myself, have gone to prison for marijuana. Now, the
Mhm.
thing about it is that you also have a lot of people who consistently, on a regular basis, myself included, right? I love my little wine. I love a little shot of whiskey, right? But the thing is that I notice how alcohol is promoted everywhere throughout here. It's on the canvases of boxing rings. All right. We'll see main event boxing rings with Corona on the bottom, right? We will see football, Super Bowls. Come on, man. Budweiser, all of that, right? We get alcohol promoted tremendously in our society, but yet no one wants to look at how detrimental actual alcoholism in the household really is.
Yo,
They don't
bro.
want to look at the problems that come with it. We just look at the fun commercials, the Trulies and everything else. We just look at the little cool, awesome commercials. You're sitting on the beach, and what do you got? A lime and Corona.
I'll
You know
tell you
what
something.
happened to me the first time I went to the beach? I got arrested for having a damn Heineken on the boardwalk. I got tricked.
That's
They
tripping.
they told me in the commercials that's the thing to do. You go on the beach, you have a beer. I'm on the boardwalk. I get tackled to the ground for open container.
Yo, I went and I got a checkup. I got a checkup. like 3 days ago. Got a checkup, and the nurse, she turned around. She was like, "You ain't got shit wrong with you." She checked me out. She checked my foot. She checked my leg. She checked my arms. She checked my chest. She checked my head. She checked my fingers. And
Did she check your bladder?
she checked all of that shit. And she was
Okay.
like, "Yo, you ain't got a problem." And yeah, I was just like, "Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah," because I thought I had a problem myself. And this is the thing that most people will make you think you had a problem with yourself. I'm fucking healthy as hell. I'm a stallion out here. There ain't no one fucking representing me. I don't want no one to represent me.
Did they check your
But
liver function?
yeah, they done all of that,
Simon,
man.
did they
It's
check
crazy.
your liver function?
I had no idea that they could do that. I had no idea.
How you hold on, wait a minute, sir. They can check our bones and they do something called MRI scans, which is basically like looking at the muscles and joints, so on and so forth. You
Yeah,
you didn't think that they could look at your organs? Yeah, you
no,
can get your liver check, kidneys, bladder,
Smith,
urinary tract, all of that stuff,
Smith, you're smart. You know what that is. They only do that if you refer them.
what's
I had
that?
I had a stroke in 2016, and that's when they referred me to an MRI scan because they want to understand the muscular the function in my body. So I that's a good point that you brought up, bro.
Yep. So now we have
Rock out.
Lena on the panel. Hi, Miss Lena. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Grace? Hey, Smitty. Hi,
Good. I love,
Simon.
Woo.
I love your picture. You look beautiful. I really liked it.
Yeah, she
Oh,
is.
thank you. Thank you. I try to get as
So
natural as
you,
possible.
Right.
No
She
makeup,
eyed. She eyed.
Oh, stop me.
and it's
She
not
is.
filtered.
What are you dealing with?
Um, I'm just saying some of these
Oh,
so
relationships
Lena, what
cause
do
you
you
to
have to
drink.
say?
Alcoholism can
What do
be
you have to
something.
say about what we talked? I'm sorry. Go
Well,
ahead.
I only heard part of it in here, all of it. I was just talking about alcoholism in general. It's something. Alcoholism. My dad was an alcoholic, and the last guy I dated was an alcoholic. It ruined our
Mm,
relationship.
mhm, mhm.
It can be something. Sometimes they rage, the sad thing was that the person knew. Both people knew they had a problem. They just didn't want to do anything about it. That's the
Yeah,
sad thing about it. He told
yeah.
me, my ex told me that AA doesn't help. It doesn't do anything because he tried it and it didn't do anything for him. He said.
I had that same problem.
But the
Like just
sad thing about it is sometimes you try not to think about it. I try to think is they have a problem versus I feel like they picked the bottle over me. Like I wasn't a
I
special or loved enough to
when
put the bottle down. And the same with my dad. Like you didn't love me enough to stop
mhm,
drinking in order to provide adequately
right
enough for me or to come
the
see
worst.
about me or to take care of me or be responsible enough because you
Yeah,
chose liquor over me. And that's how
mhm,
I felt.
yeah.
When I got
The worst.
older, I realized like, okay, it's a problem. But when I was younger, I really had a real problem. At first, I didn't notice it
Mhm.
until I was like older, like like not eight. I would say about I'll say 12 or 13. That's when I noticed it. And you know what was crazy? It wasn't when he was drinking, it's when he wasn't drinking. And that's what
Right.
made me realize he was an alcoholic. The DTs, the nervousness, he was a functional alcoholic. He can drink and
Mm,
be fine.
mhm.
But
Yo, Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy. Let's bless this platform. Jesus. Let's just drop some spots down.
Well,
but
this is
Hey,
why I love when
speak some truth.
Lena comes on the show because hold on, guys. She brings value. She brings life experiences. She actually lived with an alcoholic and she dated an alcoholic. So I'm going to ask
Right.
you a couple questions, Lena, without getting into. Give
Hmm.
me an example. You already said that you felt like your dad chose you over the alcohol, but give me an example when you saw your dad at his worst, and how did it make you feel? Because that's the point of this show, is to show people how it hurts the members of the household. Not only is it hurting the alcoholic, but it's hurting the spouse, it's hurting the children, it's even hurting the dog, because drunk people kick their dogs sometimes when they get mad. So think of a time, and you
I ain't
don't,
got no
again, you
pets.
don't have to
I'm just
get
saying.
into a lot of detail, but think
Okay,
of a
it happened
time when it
twice.
was the worst you saw your dad. Go ahead.
The worst was when he wasn't getting it. You would think he was like a crackhead. He
Mhm.
was he was angry when he didn't get it. When he drank,
Right.
he was not angry. He was
Mhm.
anxious. I gotta get my drink. I'm looking around the house looking for money just to go get alcohol. And I'm
Wow.
like, dang, he has DTs, he has shakes, he sweats. Yeah, he was really bad. And then the second time I noticed he was real bad, I kind of cried because I never seen him that drunk. He was real drunk. He had called me on my birthday on the 3rd, and then he got drunk
Mm-hmm.
and called me again, crying. He was real drunk. He was smart. My grandma didn't even know who he was. She was like, "There's somebody on the phone." I was like, "I'm not sure who this is." It's smart. She thought they were playing on the phone, but he was so drunk. His I could barely understand him. He was slurring. He's like, oh, he was crying. He's like, I forgot your birthday. I didn't mean to forget your birthday. I was like, it's all right, Dad. You told me happy
Yeah.
birthday last week. And then he's like, I thought I forgot your
Can I,
birthday, but he was
can I,
that drunk.
can I ask you a question?
Hmm.
I want to
Who?
say something to that too.
Yo, mate. Yo, yo.
But
I'm just. All right. Who took you to school?
My grandmother or my grandfather or my mom. Either of those three.
All right. All right. That's what I
Mm.
wanted to ask. Yeah.
I'm
Lena,
not, huh?
oh,
I'm not angry. Like, I feel neglected though. I feel like his negligence in my life. Sometimes he couldn't control it. Other times, like, my dad did 6 years in prison. But that was for self-defense. He had gun possession. He shot and killed somebody, but he beat the murder trial part, but he didn't beat the gun possession.
Does that play a part in how you deal with relationships?
Does that play a part with how I deal with relationships?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because when I had a drunk, I assumed he was going to be like my dad, and I saw some signs of it. But when living with him, he was different. He spiraled out of control. It got worse. It was like he was falling, and I couldn't throw on my life raft or whatever to save him. He was just drowning, and there's nothing I can do. You don't
So
want to help, and it got worse.
Where you at now? You got children, and
Yeah, I have one child. I didn't have a child with alcohol.
So, have you come across a man that made you sort of understand it that wasn't the thing for you, and you're bigger than that?
Yes, it wasn't so much a man. It was what I don't want to put my child through. Like, I couldn't live with that. I thought I could deal with it, and it couldn't be what I could deal with. It's also what my kid can do. It wasn't a happy environment. Seeing somebody drunk, yelling, falling, and then one day, like, my kid came to me. It's like, look, Mom, I can't even sleep because he would be up all night playing music when he get drunk.
Yeah,
it started getting worse. It started increasing every weekend. When he get money, he had more. He was making more money, so he'll drink. Like, he would drink, like, I don't know, like, what's bigger than a fit, like a pint of Douce or whatever. He would,
Yo, I know what you're talking about, bro. I know.
And I really felt bad. My daughter, like, knew the bag. She's like, when she see the black bag, she'd be like, oh yeah, so and so went to the liquor store today. She knew. She could time it, and I really felt bad.
What?
She knew. Oh yeah, he drinking. And it was funny though. At one time though, because she used to call it the alcohol store. We go to the alcohol store.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
we yeah.
Smitty, what did you have to say?
I'm coming
Yo,
through clear. Am I frozen up?
yo, no, yo, that's my
There you
lady. Yeah, you get what
hold
I'm
on,
saying?
hold
Like,
on, Simon. I just asked. Hold on, Simon. I just asked Smitty a question. Hold on, Papa. Hold on, Smitty.
all
What
right.
did you have to say?
I'm coming through clear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
making
You're
sure.
clear.
So,
Oh, clear, bro.
what I wanted to say to Lena real quick is something that I've learned, from somebody who actually, I've sat inside those rooms and listened to different stories. Most of the time, that person, when we can't figure out why are they using as hard as they are, a lot of times we can't figure out, unless you're inside that vessel, how much is trying to be blocked out. My point is, and what I'm saying, Atlene, is as the children or those close to that person, it's real easy to take it like you chose the bottle over us. And it has nothing to do with y'all. At the end of the day, I swear on life, they love you more than you would ever know. 9 times out of 10. What is that there is something a lot deeper, a pain or something that is, that bottle is to try to fill a void that for the longest has not been fillable. It's something that's needing at all costs to be blocked out. It's something at
Yeah.
all costs that
Yo,
needs to be like buried or whatever, right?
yo,
A
Smitty.
lot of
Yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent. I also feel like it was like self-medicated, and like when I was older, I realized he started having a pattern routine. You know what my dad did? He
Hmm.
would get he told me what he did too. He's like, yeah, he was on disability and he
All
would work
right.
on the
Yeah.
side.
Mm-hmm.
He would take a side job, he would drive his cab.
He
He's like,
like
yep.
that.
He's like, I drive just enough so I can drink or
He
get my
did
little
that.
cigarettes or eat whatever I want. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I come home in the evening, I drink all day. And he's like, I was smart. He's like, when I drink, I give my keys to someone so I won't drive.
Mm-hmm.
And when he told me that, I was like, you have a method to this. There's a routine, a
Right.
method to your
Right.
madness.
Jesus.
It's almost like a medication. I take my
Jesus.
medicine at 6, and that's honestly how he did it.
I can't live with myself based on that. Actual men. I can't live with myself, man. It's a bad thing. As a man, I feel so bad. Like it's fucked up. Like, but I have sisters and they talk to me. They tell me certain things. But the men out here are doing some crazy shit, man.
all right, Lena, you said self-medicating. Did you say that?
Yeah, because he had a routine.
Okay,
I knew when he was going to drink.
okay,
Same with
okay.
my ex. I know when he was going to drink.
Right,
It's like
right.
work weekend. Versus it's every day beer. He has to have beer every day. And
Mhm.
when he started making money, it was brown liquors, Douce, and what's that other one? Hennessy. And I knew every weekend, okay, Saturday and Sunday, it's Douce and Hennessy time. During the
Yeah,
week, it's beer.
we do
So
that.
I
Okay.
knew.
Hmm.
So, just because I'm just nailing on something. Okay, all right. You said self-medicating, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. The whole premise of everything that I was just speaking about had everything to do with is something much deeper than them choosing the bottle over you. They're trying to fill a void that somehow or another they feel as if they can't fill. So a lot of times it may be a certain
Right.
particular drug. Go okay. So when you say they self-medicating,
Hmm.
who takes a medicine
Uh,
considering they're 100% well? So if you say that they're self-medicating, then that means that they are drinking for what reason? What reason are they drinking?
I agree with you. I don't know. I can kind of. You know what? I honestly believe they both had um, serious daddy issues. Both of them do. Both
I,
my ex and my dad.
I,
Being rejected
I want
or
to talk about
neglected.
specifically. You got the floor. I want to talk about specifically. I'm just saying it's
yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just because you can.
this guy.
Mhm. I really
Okay,
believe
guys,
that
before
they
we
were trying. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
go
guys.
ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Finish that one thought, and then I want to go ahead and bring in Gary. Go ahead. Finish that one thought, Lena. You really thought.
I really thought that if they would address it, like I really feel my ex was really trying to address it, and nothing worked for
Hmm.
her. At least he tried. My
Hmm.
dad was fine with it. And another thing I noticed is the more that my ex drank, the more he was losing the grip with reality and losing control. The liquor controlled him. My dad controlled his liquor, but
Right,
my ex's the liquor was controlling him. He couldn't
right.
control it anymore. It consumed him.
Hmm.
It's like overdosing on
Okay.
you can overdose on alcohol and get alcohol, but you can die. It became so bad that the side effects outweigh the medication. It was no longer beneficial, and he couldn't see it. And I can look at. He knew it though. He knew. He's like, I have a problem. He knew. My
Mm,
dad, he knew he had a problem, but he was fine with it.
hmm. That's the difference. That's the difference.
Okay.
I
So
appreciate you,
with
girl,
that
man.
being
God
said,
damn.
let me introduce Gary. Gary, how are you, my dear? Long time no see. I know it's
I'm
been a minute. Thank you for coming.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Everything's cool. How how are you doing? What's up to everyone
I'm
on the
I'm
panel?
Hi, Gary. Welcome.
I'm here. I'm maintaining. Thank you for asking. But of course, let people know who you are, we can find you, and then I'll ask you the question that I asked everybody as well. Okay.
I'm Gary D. I am with Boardwalk Global Media. We do a couple of podcasts. We Our main podcast is called The Real Discussion. You normally can find us on Friday nights. We're on all different platforms. We're just in the midst of a reorganization and switching studios, but as soon as we're as soon as we're back up, I'll let everyone know. And you could also find us on all social media platforms, either the Real Discussion or Boardwalk Global Media.
Thank you for that, Gary. So tonight we're talking about alcoholism in the household. This was a topic that was pushed upon me from an embracer that they wanted me to put out there. Indirectly trying to speak to their better half because they just didn't know how to approach them. So I'm going to do it for them. I'm going to bridge that gap to them. So, with that being said, Gary, what are your thoughts on alcoholism? And do you know of anybody that you're close to that you would consider an alcoholic and how it affected you?
Well, uh, I'll say this: when I was growing up, my stepdad, he was definitely an alcoholic. So I seen what it done, and he, it seemed like he didn't care, right? I mean, I think, but then again, he was one of those people that was a functioning alcoholic, right? Because he could go to work and do all the things that he does, but when he gets in his mood, he'll go have his drinks and you know, alcohol can make people do some very bad, mean things, nasty things, right? But he
Absolutely.
just didn't care, right? He just didn't care. So I mean, how has something like that affected me? I mean, I think that I, I think that showed me where, as I got older, I wasn't going to be a drinker like that. I think that's maybe one of the reasons why I don't drink often. I mean, like I go out, if I go out to a party, I think I may have maybe two Heinekens, probably max, right? Um, Maybe rum and coke or something like that, but that's about it. Like that's about it. Like I'm never, so in terms of affecting me, it like I never became a drinker like that. Now, my stepbrother or my half brother, then that's a little different story. They follow after their dad.
And we did talk about that, Gary, about the gene. Is it hereditary? Can somebody pick up that gene from their parent? And the answer is yes. I didn't get into it because I didn't really do the research on that, but the answer is yes. So, Gary, what I'm hearing from you is that you learned what not to do by watching your father grow up with a stepfather that was an alcoholic.
I mean, it's a learned behavior because at the same time, there's a friend of mine who had a stepdad, and he grew up watching his stepdad being an alcoholic, and he basically took after his stepdad, right? So I think I think it's a learned behavior. I think it's no different than someone growing up in a toxic household with like a toxic mom, toxic dad, or toxic parents, and seeing what a toxic relationship is. But to them, that looks normal. So they grow up, doing the same exact thing as their mom and dad did, in their toxic relationship. So I think it's the same thing.
When Lena comes up here, I'm gonna ask her a question about that. So before you chimed in, I was talking about the 4 types of alcoholics, and you have the social drinkers, you have the conformers, you have the enhancers, and you have the ones that drink to cope. Okay, but let's talk about a lot of people walk around, oh, I just drink a few times a week, or I just do this, or I just do that. So let's talk about, how does somebody know if they're an alcoholic, or AUD? Okay, it's characterized by craving, physical and emotional dependence on alcohol, uncontrollable alcohol use, and negative emotions when not drinking. According to the National Institute of Alcoholism and Alcohol Abuse, an estimated 15 million people in the US have AUD. AUD is alcohol. Damn, I forgot just that quick. Hold on. Alcohol something disorder. I'll come back to it. So let's look at some of the signs. What, and I need you guys to think about and pinpoint that person that you saw as an alcoholic. I'm gonna go down the signs, and I want you to mentally put a checklist on that. Alcohol use disorder. That's what it is. Using alcohol as a reward, having chronic blackouts, memory lapse, feeling guilty and shame of their drunken behavior, other people expressing concern about their negative drunken behaviors, engaging in risky sexual behavior when drunk, not being able to imagine life without alcohol. I mean, these things are like serious. Can you imagine waking up and thinking the first thing you want to do is have a drink? Or the first thing you want to do when you get off is have a drink? I mean, and like Lena was saying, the alcohol can control you. It can be controlling. And it's one of the, again, and I'll repeat it again, it's the #1 addicting substance in the United States, where you would think it'd be other things. You'd think it'd be porn, cocaine, meth, fentanyl, but it's actually alcohol. And the reason, and it makes sense, because you can walk into any store and just go ahead and buy it. So it's very easy to access and it's very easy to get addicted. And it's sad because it affects, and my whole reason for this is that it's not just affecting the alcoholic, it's affecting the person around them, their spouse, their children, their pets. You know, when you start not doing well at your job, that's when it starts becoming a problem. Approximately 10.5% or 7.5 million of U.S. children ages 17 or younger live with a parent who has alcohol use disorder. I'm going to repeat that, people. Approximately 10.5% of United States children, that's 7.5 million, ages 17 or younger, live with a parent who has alcohol use disorder. Then we wonder why our kids are so lost in the sauce.
Well, look, also too, I think that, look, growing up, I mean, I know that back when I was a teenager, one of the cool things to do was to drink the 40 ounce, the 40 ounce, the Old English.
OE, St.
Right.
Ives.
Exactly right. The OE, St. Ives, private stock. Like, so that was the fashionable in thing to do. Now, there were some people, who drank socially. Then there's some people that really took it out of hand. I mean, one of my childhood friends named Terrence, his nickname was 40 because he literally throughout the day would drink 40s. Like the first thing in the morning, that's what he's drinking, right? Before he goes to bed, that's what he's drinking, right? And I think that when we're that young, we don't realize that as you do it that much, it really takes a toll on you, right? How you look, your skin, all those type of things, your sex drive, and I remember with him was that, and with some of my friends like him, they was at the time it was cool, right? It was fashionable, it was the in thing, right? But not knowing
it was funny,
right? But doing years of that, it takes a toll on the body. It takes a serious toll on the body. Again, no different than what drugs do.
But the difference is that alcohol is legal.
Well, yeah.
You can go to any store, go to a restaurant, go anywhere and get it. I mean, Gary, do you know that you can actually tell by looking at a person on how they're aging?
Absolutely.
They drank a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's amazing. Oh, I look old. Shit, Sherlock. Of course you look old. You drink a 12-pack a day.
Yeah.
It dehydrates you.
I mean, if you're 30 and you're looking like 60, that's a problem, right?
Absolutely.
People like that, right? There are people that you see that they may be in their 30 or mid 30s and they look like they're 15, 20 years older. Like, so yeah, it's for those that are out of control with it, then that's what happens, right? That's it really takes a toll on the body and how you look and your appearance.
I would have to say in my upbringing, there was alcohol usage. I remember my dad used to have poker nights at his house with his boys. But the thing that I have to respect my dad about is that he didn't hide it from us kids. He actually taught me how to drink, to tell you the truth. And this is maybe something that we do need to do with our kids because we all know that they're going to do it. Our poison in high school, Gary, was Cisco.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We used to stop at McDonald's, get a large Coke, throw out the Coke, go to the corner store where the guy knew we were underage, but still sell it to us.
Yep.
And I would get Cisco Peach and put it in my McDonald's cup and go to school and be chilling. You know, I can't stand it till this day. Peach, I don't do anything peach. But the fact remains is, when my dad started noticing, he's not stupid. When I was driving by myself now and he gave me the car keys, he was like, okay, this weekend, we're going to drink. I'm like, what do you mean, Dad, we're going to drink? He's like, you need to learn your limits. You're driving by yourself now. I'm not stupid. I know you out there drinking with your friends and experimenting, but you need to learn your limits. And a lot of people, parents may not agree with this course of teaching, but let me tell you something, Smitty and Gary, till this day, you don't have a DUI. I still drink till this day the way my father taught me. And I only lost my cookies one time in public. But thank God I was with somebody who took care of me, but it was never a habit. I don't go out and get smashed, but one time, and I was in college. So I'm giving myself a pass with that because I was in college. But so that weekend, you know, me and my dad were real tight and we would watch the games on Sunday. And he was like, okay, so what beer do you drink? And it was kind of hard to answer these questions to my dad because you don't want your, he was like, come on, I know you're drinking. What do you drink? I said, I like Heineken. And he looked at me. I said, oh, fancy, huh? He was like, okay. Comes home Sunday morning before the game, grilled. He buys a 24-pack of Heineken. I'm like, damn. So we're there. And he was like, here you go. He was like, look, don't be embarrassed. I'm not going to take it as disrespect. I need you to drink how you would normally drink because I'm trying to teach you something. So we're drinking. I'm like, I can't believe I'm really doing this with my dad. I'm actually like hanging out like a big girl with daddy. So I was up to my 5th Heineken. That's when I start. Well, no, let's say my 3rd going on my 4th. I started acting funny. And he let me drink until I couldn't no more. And he was like, okay, your limit is 2. And after every beer you drink, I needed you to drink a bottled water. And I'm like, he was like, I mean, he wasn't condoning drinking and driving or anything, but at the end of the day, as a parent, he knew that we as kids were going to do it regardless. But he wanted me to be smart about it. He wanted me to think twice. You know, and Gary, till this day, when I go out, we go out together and you buy me a beer, I'm ordering a bottle of water right afterwards. Or I drink an alcoholic beverage. You know, I just make sure that I maintain. He was like, you never want to lose your ladylikeness in public. You never want to get sloshed in public. Make sure you never walk away from your drink. Make sure you watch the bartender make your drink. I mean, all these little tags that he gave me that most parents will not give to their kids. Does it sound like he's condoning drinking? Maybe, but at the same time, it kept me safe. I did it smartly because at the end of the day, these kids are going to do what they're going to do regardless, just like we did.
I mean, but again, I think it's being able to do it smart. Now, as I said, seeing how my stepdad drank, I knew, I guess, how to drink responsibly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here and actually, I remember. I think I was 18 years old. It was New Year's Eve. I was with my girlfriend, and this was the first time I drank, and I didn't eat anything, right? So, and this was a major lesson, right? I woke up the following morning. I felt like I got hit by a train, a plane, a bus, all of that. So from that day on, and I was 18, I was like, anytime before I drink, I'm going to make sure I eat, right? So never drink on an empty stomach. And I don't understand why people still do something like that. But I mean, over the years, I've been a social drinker, right? And it's not even like once a week, because even it being in the music business, yeah, there's all of that popping bottles and stuff like that. I've been around that stuff, and probably maybe I have 2-3 drinks and everybody else is popping bottles and doing all that crazy shit, right? So, because and you said something very important. I never wanted to drink to a point where I don't know what's going on, right? Or I don't know what's happening, right? Even when I was working on Wall Street in investment banking, I had guys over there that was doing the same thing. Like they would, after they got their bonus and all that shit, they go wild out, right? Be trashed all over the place. And I'm like, that doesn't work for me. I'm like, I gotta always have my bearings, know what's what.
Absolutely.
Right? I never want to, as I say, as this saying goes, I don't want to be caught with my pants down, right? Like you always want to be on, and if I drink to a point where I get somewhat buzzed, then I go in a corner away from everybody, right? Until I get my bearings back, right? So, but but I was never ever one to drink to a point where you just get shit faced and blackout and all of that stuff. I could never, like I don't understand that. Like I don't understand that.
So Smitty, I know you heard me talking about how my daddy taught me how to drink. What do you have to say about that? Because you do have a 15-year-old daughter, and at the end of the day, pretty soon she's gonna drink and she's gonna do her thing. Did you think my dad was condoning drinking by him doing that with me, or do you think he did a good thing as a father of a daughter? I was saying how he taught me not to walk away from my drink, how he taught me to make sure I look at the bartender making my drinks. He taught me my limits. So he taught me that every time I have a drink a bottled water to flush out the alcohol. And I forgot to mention this, and Gary mentioned it. Always eat pasta and bread on the day that you're going to go out and drink, because that absorbs alcohol better than anything. I mean, I could count on my hands in my 48 years on this earth how many hangovers I've had because of the things that he taught me. And to me, alcohol, have I been there before, drinking to numb the pain? Absolutely. Have I been there before to drink to relieve some stress? Absolutely. But I've also seen what it can do to people. And I know me, I'm a Scorpio. I have a very addictive personality. So things that I know that can be addictive, I tend to stay away, except for sugar. I can't knock that addiction, and I'm working on it. But it got me on a tight grip. That white processed sugar got me on a real tight grip. But what do you think about that, Smitty? You with a 15-year-old daughter, how are you going to talk to her about alcohol? How are you? I mean, it's reality, Smitty. I know you say, "Oh, my daughter's not going to drink," but she going to get hit with it at one time or another.
Nah, I don't say any of that. If anybody, am I coming through clear? I'm not breaking up, right?
No, you
okay,
good.
just making sure. Nah. The number one thing that I always, first of all, make very clear in my parenting is that I'm doing everything that I can to prepare her for everything that I have went through and what I see today, to the best of my ability. She's gonna go somewhere and be at a party. She's gonna be at a function, something. These things, from sex to alcohol, drugs, will be presented to my child, just like every other human, as me, myself, you, everybody, and those who came after and before us. I mean, those who would come after and those who come before us. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't do nothing about what life will present. The only thing that I can do is try my best to equip her with enough information and enough knowledge. And, look at how your father operates. Me and her, we engage, and I make sure that I stay in communication with her That's all I can do. And then the only other thing outside of that, of course, as a believer, is pray. Right. So I do my
Absolutely.
job is just trying my best to prepare her to leave the nest. And when she does, it is in God's hands. All right. So boom. Now, as far as what your father did the best that he could. Is that was that the right way to do it? Honestly, Grace, most would say absolutely not, even
I
myself.
know.
Now, follow me though. Follow me. It's not about like, oh, perfect. Okay, here we go. Because I'm just trying to condense it so I don't talk too long. There are parents, all right, there are kids who honestly, well, adults now who can say, I'm a Crip, I'm a Blood, I'm a GD, Vice Lord, BD, whatever, right? Because of my dad, my uncles, my whole family. So my point is, as far as when it comes to that alcohol part with you, I'm gonna be real. Like I'm from the family that when the baby wouldn't go to sleep, they would sneak like a little half a shot in that bottle. I get it. Was it right? No. But was it what they knew? Yes. That's what they knew. So all I'm saying is that your father was not wrong in the sense of his attempt to try everything that he could from what he knew. In his mind, he's saying, I just want to prepare you, baby. Look, you know what? Because guess what? Watch this, Grace. I got homeboys that I remember their mom and their dad was the type like, you know what? I know my kids smoke weed or whatever. I'd rather allow them to do it in the house with their friends here under our roof than for me to hear something happen outside the crib and I get looked at some kind of. That's a real thing that comes from our generation and beyond. Look, if you gonna do that shit anywhere, okay, do it in the house. You're gonna do it here with us. You're gonna do it with family. Your first experience, whatever it is gonna be with the family. Now, all I'm saying is, of course, with all the information that's out now that we look back on that, it's like, nah, those weren't the best. Putting a shot of vodka or Cavassier, whatever it was, in the baby bottle because we wouldn't stop crying. You wanted to go ahead and do the little nighttime. We wouldn't go to sleep, so you figured you put us to bed by putting some honey in that milk bottle. You smell me now? Like that's a real thing, Gracie. That's all I'm saying, beloved. That's all I'm saying.
People use NyQuil, Benadryl.
That was the original NyQuil. No. Before NyQuil, no. We had that Tussin. It was Tussin. You had Robitussin. Tussin was for everything. You had that Tussin for every damn thing. Gary knows.
With Spanish people is the Vaporub. We put Vaporub on everything. You got a cough, Vaporub. You got a headache, Vaporub. You got a stomach ache, Vaporub. You walking around.
That's right. That's right. That's Tussin went on everything. That's right. That's right. Football accident after the game with your ankle hurt, that Tussin on it. That's right. That's right.
My grandmother was notorious for that, bro. I know. Yep.
That's hilarious. That's how they thought. Like, and when my dad used to have his poker nights, I was the bartender. I would make the drinks, and by the end of the night, I'd be lit because I'm tasting everybody's drinks and everything. But I was doing it at home, where he was watching.
Wait, Grace, watch this. Now, when we ask about was your dad wrong, was your dad personally wrong for allowing you to drink alcohol at a certain age, blah, blah, blah. Okay, F all of that. Was the corporations wrong back in the day when kids at the age of like 5, no, not 5, but 10, 12, 8, 9, allowed to go to the store with a note and they could pick up cigarettes and alcohol for their parents? Huh? So pay attention to that. Once upon a
I
time,
remember that.
yeah, little kids used to be able to go to the store with a note.
That's right. That's right.
Is that on the parents or is that on the corporation? So all I'm saying is, okay, bump all that trying to look at your dad for what he did on a personal level. Let's think about all the countless times and all the people who got stories of saying, I remember when my aunt, my uncle, my whoever was old enough would write a note and allow me to go to the store and I would go get Lucky Stripes and some Millers. Let's stop.
Some cools.
Oh, whatever, I'm just throwing it out there. You ain't gotta go down the list, but you know what I'm saying. Smokes and alcohol.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all around the board as far as like, yeah, how like at a certain time, like really was accepted. That was like the thing. That was the thing. That was nothing. Think about it. Imagine if you really was at your, like, I don't know, like 19, 20, whatever, or something like that, in that day and age, in that time. Imagine you walking down the street and you seeing a little 10-year-old or something running out the store, pack the cigarettes in their mouth or whatever, because they got one bag in their hand and you see a 6-pack in another hand. And you know that they doing that because they getting it for their peoples. Imagine how that would look nowadays.
But my thing is we don't look how the. Yes, that would be frowned upon. You're absolutely right, Smitty. But why don't we frown upon on more things? How these young girls are dressing, how our young men are wearing their pants down halfway through their weight. You see what I'm saying? We like to pick and choose what we frown upon when we need to just go all across the board. And it's crazy to me. And I hear you, but the advertisement and the push that they give to alcohol is crazy. And it opens the mind of kids where maybe that was the last thing they were thinking about, but now you've planted a seed. So with that being said, let's talk about the negative effects of living with an alcoholic. Spouses and children of alcoholics are more likely to be victims of domestic violence and emotional harm. As a result, their partners will neglect their physical and mental health and become socially withdrawn. In some cases, they also develop addictions. Other lasting effects include trauma and long-term financial problems. They get agitated, they get tremors, hot flashes, increased heart rate, raised blood pressure, nausea, vomiting, and seizures. The inability to control alcohol intake after starting to drink. Obsessing thoughts about alcohol. Behaving in ways while drunk is not uncharacteristics of their sober personality. Repeating unwanted drinking patterns, surrounding themselves socially with other heavy drinkers, getting drunk before actually arriving at a party. Well, you know what? I don't get drunk before arriving at a party or restaurant. I just try to save money. I'm going to get my little buzz on at home first because I'm not spending $18, $19 on one drink. And then the drink is weak. So I know a lot of people that do that, but that doesn't make you an alcoholic. But this is referring to the people that literally get shit-faced before even coming to the function. I mean, damn.
No, I got that, Gracie. I got that one. All right, now. You talking about basically the cons of living or being around an alcoholic? Oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to tell you right now, first and foremost, because I'm a huge proponent of how you start your day, like how you end your night and how you start your day. In between, hey, that just comes with life, right? But I'm telling you right now, when you're around an alcoholic, their morning inconsistencies is off the chain. Yeah, that's right. Alcoholics are extremely nasty in the morning. That's right. nasty than a bitch. Oh my gosh. They are so damn irritated and disgruntled and everything. It take them a good hour and a half. You got to give the average alcoholic at least about an hour and 45 minutes before you can get to somewhere around the respect zone. We ain't even nice yet. Nope, not even nice yet. You got to get to the respect zone where I can at least be like, hey, yeah, what's up? But that first hour and 45 minutes when the alcoholic first wake up, don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna save yourself some heartache and some arguments for no damn reason whatsoever if you just do that. Next thing, I'm gonna tell you another bad thing about people who are hardcore alcoholics. Yep, that's right. If they make food, I've experienced this before, oversalted. Yes, that's right. They will oversalt the shit out of some food because when you drink alcohol too much, you can't taste. Your taste buds, see, your senses are dull. People don't know that. That's a real thing. If you're a drinker, let you stop drinking for just 2 weeks, just 14 days. Guarantee you, you'd be surprised how somehow or another your senses are heightened just that fast. You'll notice a difference. All right. And last but not least, I would say life schedule. That's right. That's right. That's right. I remember, God bless. I love you. I love you, Auntie. I love you. May you rest in paradise. All right. Live in paradise. My Aunt Tony. Oh, goodness gracious. Aunt Tony would get a 12-pack of Blue Bull. Her, Uncle Chubb, Uncle Dave, everybody, they be up. I swear on life. Aunt Tony is doing Dominican blowouts. It's like 11:45 at night. Okay. All right. Okay. No concept of people got to go to work. I'm trying to tell you, it's music playing. It's all this. I'm standing. Can you knock me out? All of that. And it's like, I'm serious. It's like 1:13 in the morning. Okay. And she is going at it. And that's how it is when it comes to their life schedule. Most people who, when you get to that alcoholic level, you start to get off on your time schedules because you'll take a nap in the middle of the day. You'll wake up around 5:30. Wake up around 5:30 to you. That's like 8:45 a.m. So you about to get it in at least to about 4 a.m. And now your life schedule is off. So to recap, yes, morning inconsistencies. Even with an alcoholic, they will be nasty as shit in the morning, okay? They oversalt food. I'm telling you right now, you better get ready to taste that Old Bay, all right? And your vegetables on every damn thing, all right? And last but not least, their life schedule be off, then a month is off, okay? Nighttime to them is like 2 in the morning is 2 p.m. to them. I digress. My mic is muted. Rock out.
You're absolutely right. Look what Revolving Potato said. And greetings. Thank you for coming. There's nothing that promotes families. Only things promoted today are drugs, sex, and the evaporation of the unborn. It's like in this society, good is bad and bad is good. And it's sad. And you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. I miss the shows that we used to have back in the days, the Cosby Show, Different World, Living Single. I mean, those were wholesome shows. All we got now is reality shows, Love and Hip Hop. I mean, I still go back and watch those old shows, even the Golden Girls, the Brady Bunch. I mean, those were shows that promoted families, you saw a mother and a father in the household. Unfortunately, we don't see that anymore. What we see is a reflection of today's society and why today's society is the way that it is. But let me get into more about further effects of people who misuse alcohol. They blow through the family budget. They cause fights, ignore children, otherwise impair the health and happiness of the people around them and the people that they love. In time, family members themselves may even develop symptoms of codependency and inadvertently keeping the addiction alive. Because sometimes we won't go out there and buy their drink, but they get so annoying and so irritable that you cave in and you be like, you know what, F it. I'm gonna go get you your drink because you're just impossible right now, just to maintain peace in the house. And trust me, I lived with that, and I know what it is. And I was an enabler because it was just easier to deal with him quiet and happy. I used to call it his baba. You know, I'm gonna go get you your baba, because it's just he you couldn't be able to live with him. He was impossible to deal with. But as soon as he had his baba, he was quiet and he was back to his normal self. And it's amazing the way the mood went into a 360. And it's amazing. And even though it harm and inadvertently keeping addiction alive, even though it harms them, alcoholism can have a very serious changing effect on entire families, which can impact generations. It's a generational disease if it doesn't get a hold of. When a member of family is suffering from alcoholism, those closest to them can find that they too have to contend with the financial problems, strained relationships, and harm to their own health and well-being. Alcohol can affect your sex life. Yeah, gentlemen, alcohol can affect your sex life, mental and physical health, medical conditions, and the use of, and it opens the gateway of other drugs and medication. Excessive alcohol use can lead to the development of chronic diseases and other serious problems such as high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke. We all know cirrhosis of the liver and digestive problems. People who are alcoholics die 24 to 28 years earlier than the people in the general population. I'm going to repeat that again. Alcoholics die 24 to 28 years earlier than they're supposed to versus people in the general population. So you're literally cutting out up to 28 years of your life when you're an alcoholic. I have met people who, when they realize that they need to stop drinking, it's too late. They're so far gone and they're so full of regret that it's sad. It really is. It really, you know, you laid your own bed. Now you have to lay in it. And it's really sad. What did you have to say, Smitty?
Damn, I had something else to say, but you know what? For educational purposes, I will speak on this, okay? You know, it is what it is, right? Exactly what you said as far as like the 28 something years and all of that, and how you take down whatever the number is.
Mm-hmm.
On my mother's side, my grandma, my granddad, on my mother's side is 7 of them, right? My mom, like 1 out of 7. So to this day right now, it's only my mother, my grandmother, and her youngest brother, my Uncle Tracy. All right. Shout out to Uncle Tracy. All right. So it's my mom, youngest brother, grandma. That's it. I had 5 other aunts and uncles. Every last one perished because of like some kind of cirrhosis of the liver, you name it. Yeah. On my dad's side, it's 9 of them. Only 1 has passed away. Absolutely rest in peace. We love you, Aunt BJ. Right? So Aunt BJ passed away. And she was the only one on that side of the family that actually was more so of the, if you want to say, kind of star life. The rest of my aunts and uncles and them, they definitely did their thing, right? They definitely did, but they stopped. So the point is, I noticed on my mom's side, they allowed the addiction to overtake them. And now I only have 1 uncle left on my mom's side. I only have one uncle alive. On my dad's side, yeah, the partying took place, but they cut that out. They grew, whatever, however you want to say it, they stopped it, and it's still 8 of them here. My dad is, like I said, it's 9 altogether. My dad, you know what I'm saying? So it's still only one that's perished. So all I'm saying is I do notice the difference personally
Mm-hmm.
in exactly what you're saying as far as looking at my mom's side of the family and how they kept on partying and kept on drinking, kept on late nighting. And my father's side was just, even though they, it take place, but somehow or another, they got a hang and they didn't allow it to consume them. And I still have majority of those on my father's side. And there's nobody left on my mom's side except 1 or 2.
Exactly. So Gary, with everything that we've been speaking on, and what I added to this, and how you grew up with your stepdad, does that define you as a person now, as a drinker, because of everything you've seen? I mean, how's your stepdad doing now medically? Is he okay?
Him and I don't talk. Like we like oil and water, right? Oil and water. So, but what I can tell you is that he's always been a drinker. Like he was one of those people, and he's from the West Indies. So, like you want to talk about the bar cabinet with all sorts of liquor and like the moonshine shit, like that. So he was one. I think, like I said earlier, was a functioning alcoholic, right? So he'll go to work, do all his work and stuff like that, and then, he would have his drinks for his, I guess, recreation. But then also too, if something happened or he was pissed or he was mad, then he'll turn to drinking. You mentioned something about how it causes domestic violence. Well, I've seen domestic violence stuff between him and my mother, like when he drank and how it made him. Now, mind you, my stepdad is 6'3", like 250, no, 260. My mom was like 5'2" and like 160 pounds, right? So, that just really, got to me when I saw that, and how he would just, become a different person when he drank. I think there's probably only one time that I seen him, I guess, feel sorry or say sorry, but then after that, it was like he didn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
So how it has affected me personally is that it taught me that, one, I never wanted to drink like that. Like, I mean, I understood, and I was someone that matured quickly at a young age. I mean, I knew you could drink and have a good time, but responsibly, right? Now, I didn't see that from my stepdad, right? But I did see from my uncle, from my aunts, where they had their social drinking, right? But as I got older, I can tell you that I was never one to become a major drinker. Like, I think, like I said earlier, I mean, I may have 3 Heinekens if you're lucky, right? I mean, just a week ago, we did a big event and I had 2 Coronas. And that was the first time I drank for the whole year, right? So, with me, like, I don't really have to drink like that. But I mean, if an occasion comes up, I may have 1 or 2 beers. But let me circle back to something that you said earlier about with you and your dad. I think what your dad did was, one, what he felt was best But also too, I think also the angle that I see it as is that if you're gonna drink, you want to drink around people that you're safe with, right?
Yep.
I think that's very important, right? If you want to, if when you go out with friends and you want to drink, make sure these are friends that know, God forbid, if you drink too much, they're going to make sure that you get home okay, right? And I think that when your dad was doing, what he did, I think he was also kind of showing you like, look, if you're going to drink, you want to be around people that you trust, people that's going to be there
Absolutely.
in the event that you may. And look, nobody is perfect, but we all may have a drink or two and stuff like that. But or maybe even get a little too buzzed. But at least the person that's with you, the people that's with you, is going to make sure you're okay instead of taking advantage of you. You follow me?
Absolutely. Yep. You're
And
absolutely right. That's why I don't drink with just anybody. I don't party with just anybody. And I barely go out with people that I work with, because that's a side of me that not everybody should have the privilege of seeing. I
well,
work
look,
with you. I don't
look,
socialize with you.
we've all heard the horror stories of different women of how they drank too much or blacked out, and then all these different sexual things happen, right? So, or even their own friend. Actually, the other day, a friend of mine was telling me she was out with who she was considered her girlfriends, and they let her get drunk and get taken advantage of by another dude, right?
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Grace.
Yeah.
I I need a minute. I need a minute.
Okay. No
You said the
problem, hon.
score 27-3.
Yeah.
I need a minute.
It's
I gotta step
okay.
outside. I gotta step outside. I just what fuck?
That's his team, Gary. And his team is losing right now. But
Okay. All right.
look,
So yeah, I
I'm
mean, I
no,
was
go ahead, Gary, finish.
just saying, just the other day, like 2 days ago, a friend was telling me that how her and you know, she went out with her girlfriends, or who what she considered was her close girlfriends, and literally, I guess they let her drink. She said, "Well, I remember I just blacked out and I woke up the following morning." But then her girlfriend
Wow.
was talking about all these other things that happened, and I'm like, so I say that to say, in regards to your dad and what he did with you, he wants he if you're gonna drink, drink around people that's gonna make sure that you're okay, right? If you're out somewhere and you get a little bit buzzed more than normal, at least they're gonna make sure you're okay. Nobody's gonna take advantage of you. Make sure you get home. That type of stuff. Because I think that's very important. Because, like I said, we've all heard the horror stories of women who have gotten taken advantage of.
Yep. Absolutely. And I can honestly say that never happened to me, or I ran across that, because there was a rule. If we go out together, we leave together. Ain't no you leaving with this person and you leaving now. They want to come join us for breakfast or whatever, and then maybe afterwards. But the club, we got there together, we left together, and we make sure that we all ate before we went out. So we always try to go have dinner, or make sure, girl, you ate. Did you eat something? Because I'm not dealing with, I'll take care of you if I have to, but I would like not to have to do that.
Right,
So
right.
I don't want to be a hypocrite and say you can't go out there and drink, you can't go out there and live your best life. But we got to do it responsibly.
At least,
And
yes, you
yep.
absolutely. Yeah, you have to have responsible people with you. Like, another quick example. When I was working uh, with when I was doing investment banking, my business partner at the time. Now we're like 28 years old. And Charlie, he became a millionaire, right? And this dude, you want to talk about
Mhm.
blowing money and love to drink, all of this shit, right? And we would go out, and I literally would have to make sure that if he didn't get back home to Long Island, he actually got a hotel room. to go to sleep, because his mother, right, his mother was like, I remember talking to his mother one time, and his mother was like, she gets worried about him, and now mind you, Charlie's he's a big guy, right? He looked like he belonged on the Sopranos, right? So, but she, being the Italian mom, she was like, Gary, I worry about him. I don't want anybody to. I know how he can drink, and I was like, look, don't worry. More times than not, I'm out with him, and when he does drink, like, I make sure that he, one, does not drive, right? Make sure his car gets put in a lot, and I make sure he gets a hotel room, right? Because
absolutely,
and with men, you get some guys, they start drinking, and also they get taken advantage of too by either women and or men, right?
Yeah.
Right. So absolutely. Yeah. So I guess my point is that if someone's gonna drink, you want to have someone around you that you can trust. That that shit, if I black out, they're gonna make sure that I get home or I'm safe, or no crazy shit is gonna happen, right? And I think that's very important. So I think with what your dad did, I think it's sort of an indirect way. It's like, if you're gonna drink, drink around people who you can trust, right? Or that's gonna take care of you if something goes wrong.
And you're absolutely right. Even in college, I had that one mishap. And that's because the drinks were so strong that I tossed my cookies. But you know what? After I went to the bathroom and tossed my cookies, I was like, I need to go home. I didn't continue partying. I knew what was going on with myself. I guess I didn't drink enough water or whatever. But you got to know your limits. You got to know when it's time to go. And then to get, again, we've all done it. We've all gotten behind the wheel when we really weren't supposed to. We've gotten in the car with somebody who wasn't supposed to be behind the wheel. I'm not here to make past judgment. I'm not here to chastise anybody. I'm just here to put the information out so we can do better and be better versions of ourselves. That's all the purpose that all these podcasters do. We're just trying to put information out there. You can accept it or reject it. But wrapping things up, we're almost done, Gary. Let me read what Braxton said. He said, when being at bars, clubs, and casinos, if you step and leave your drink and come back to it, it's not yours anymore. Buy another one. I agree with you. Well, to avoid all that, Braxton, I'm just going to drink my drink before I walk away from it because I didn't spend too much money on it. Even if I got to chug it, no, you're not getting that drink for free. In that 1988 interview of the 17-year-old Tupac, he said his mother always told me, never be drunk or high unless you're with me. That's another, that's another one.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, look at that, because the mom knows, like, if you're going to do that, be around someone, if you do that around me, then you're safe with me, right? You know that.
Absolutely.
Right? But other people, that may not be the case.
You're absolutely right. And ladies and gentlemen, and to all my embracers, there are treatments for alcoholism, just like everything else. And there's three main types of treatments. There are several evidence-based treatment approaches for alcohol use disorder. Because, everybody's different. One size does not fit all. And a treatment approach may work for one person, may not work for another. Treatment can be outpatient and or inpatient and may be provided by specialty programs, therapists, and healthcare providers. It can actually, you can put it on your insurance. I actually have set up for the person that I was with to have him go do a 28-day program where nobody will find out. He was leaving when the kids were going to go away for the summer, and he will be back before, but he refused to do it. And you can only help somebody that accepts the help. But he was still in denial and still is in denial. and you gotta want to have the help.
A lot of
So
you gotta. What's it? Acceptance. Was it acceptance or acknowledge? I'm. So there's a saying that Alcohol Anonymous has. It's like, I think it's acceptance is the first step, or acknowledging. Like acknowledging you have a problem is the first step, right? So I think you got some people that they don't want to acknowledge that they have a problem.
absolutely, or they're in denial. Hold on, I'm trying to look it up. Famous saying. Hold on, let's see. It's not saying here, but it is saying here the first step toward recovery from alcoholism is the recognition that a problem exists. Another thing is, because alcohol is encouraged by our culture, we get the idea that it's not dangerous. But in fact, alcoholism is a devastating, potentially fatal disease. So let's talk about the three types of treatments. Medication. I didn't even know this, but they have 3 medications that are currently approved by the US FDA to help people stop or reduce their drinking and prevent from drinking, and they are all non-addictive. So that's one way that you can get help. Behavioral treatments. Alcohol counseling or talk therapy provided by a licensed therapist are aimed to changing drinking behavior. Example, brief interventions and reinforcement, approaching treatments that build motivation and teach skills for coping and preventing to return to drinking and mindfulness based on therapy. And then the last one is multiple support groups. We all have heard of AA. Provide peer support for stopping and reducing drinking. Group meetings are available in most communities at a low or no cost and at convenient times and locations. This means that they can be especially helpful to individuals at risk for relapsing to drinking. Combined with medications and behavioral treatments provided by healthcare prevention, mutual support groups can offer value-added layer of support. So the help is there. It's just sad that, let's say you're an alcoholic, you do your 12-step program, you're good, but everywhere you go, there's alcohol. You go out to dinner, people drinking alcohol. You go to a party, drinking alcohol. It's like you literally have to detach yourself from a lot of people. You got to cut a lot of people out of your life because you can't try to stop drinking, but you're hanging out with your friends that like to go drinking every weekend. It's like Pookie. Remember Pookie in New Jack City? God bless his heart. He was trying to get off that ninja, but how do you put him in a room, all around that? Of course he's going to relapse. I mean, but at the end of the day, I wanted to bring this to the attention, and I know a lot of people know all about this, and I know that they know that it's dangerous and it's addictive, but sometimes we got to hear it. Sometimes we got to notice, like, damn, I really am messing up. And the worst one is when it affects the children. The children get neglected. The children don't get taken care of properly. You don't spend enough time with your children. You don't want to do things with your kids because either you're too tired, you're drained, or you're drunk. And it's not fair to these children. They didn't ask to be here.
Exactly.
And again, the children, I know this sounds cliche, but the children are our future. So it's something that we really need to get a grip on. And again, it's not a black thing, white thing, Hispanic thing, Asian thing. It's a human thing. Is there more alcoholism in certain areas, demographics, and cultures? Absolutely. That's something maybe we can touch on next week. And are there a lot of liquor stores purposely, strategically placed in certain areas? Absolutely. That is not a myth. I was starting to touch on that tonight, but I said, no, we're going to go over too much if we get into that side of alcoholism. Tonight it was just for awareness, to make people feel aware. And the alcoholic is not just putting themselves through something, you're putting your family and your kids through something as well. And it's not fair. It's not fair. Because kids grow, and then like Lena was here, she dated a guy that drank too much. Could it be that she dated a guy that was just like her father? We make those decisions.
And they do that. A lot of women that do that. I mean,
Yeah.
because there's women that want qualities. They want the good qualities of the dad, right? But then also there's the bad qualities of the dad too. That that they get attracted to, right? In another guy. So yeah, it's a challenge.
Absolutely. So I hope that everybody takes this show with a grain of salt. I hope that if you didn't know something, you know something now. If you feel that, I mean, I only touched the surface tonight, guys, but there's so much more information, but there's also help out there. So, Gary, with all that's being said, I want to thank you again for coming. It's so good to see you. I know I was on a 2-week hiatus, and I'm glad to see you. What's going on with global media? When is that going to be up and running?
There's a couple of things that we're in the midst of doing and stuff like that. So I'll keep you posted. We're going to be coming back soon because we're going into a different studio. We're going through a reorganization. So things have been a little crazy, but crazy in a good way.
I hear you. So if you could be so kind to go ahead and give me your final thoughts on this, and again, let people know where we can find you, and we'll just wrap things up.
Okay. I would just like to say, look, you want to drink responsibly. I know it sounds corny, right? I know y'all hear the liquor companies that talk about, or the ads on TV that talk about drink responsibly. It's actually true. You have to drink if you're going to drink responsibly. You want to go out with friends or someone that, if you know that you drink a lot, you want to go out with someone that's going to make sure that you're okay if you overdo it, right? Do not go out with people that you don't know like that. Do not go out with people that you can't trust or don't think that you can trust, and drink with them. So again, if you're gonna drink responsibly and always have somebody that you trust, but also to eat before you drink, right? Eat before you drink. And like Grace was talking about, and actually my business partner Charlie used to do this, have water. Especially if you're gonna be out with your friends and y'all got like a booth and the drinks coming, have a pitcher of water. Right? So on that note, I'm Gary D. I co-host here with Grace. You can catch me Boardwalk Global Media, all social media platforms, the Real Discussion, all social media platforms, and that's it. Grace, take it away.
Thank you so much, Gary. I really appreciate you. Okay, guys, so my final thoughts on this. Alcohol use disorder, or also known as AUD, is a common condition. If you have it or know someone that has it, you should not go through this alone. You are living with a chronic medical condition that needs proper management and treatment. Recognizing that you need help is the first step in the treatment journey. If you or someone you know is showing traits of alcohol use disorder, contact your healthcare provider, contact your local AA program. Be just like the famous George Jenkins used to say, begin. The rest is easy. This is affecting our children, is affecting our spouses, is affecting our family members, your finances, everything you work so hard for what? A drink? And also, pray. You'll be amazed at what prayer can do. So let's all pray for ourselves, and let's pray for each other. So with that being said, thank you everybody for coming and showing Wife School Podcast. I love you too. I try to do what I can to better people of all races, creed, and religion. There is no no group of people that I wouldn't want anybody to do better. I want everybody to do better because life is hard enough. So guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. You can find me on all social media platforms. You can find me on the JVJ Network on Thursday nights and my YouTube channel. You can also find me on Broadwalk Media with Gary. I go along with a lot of other podcasters because I'm out here trying to make a difference. I'm out here talking to the people. I'm out here embracing topics that people just don't want to embrace. For me, Gary, and Smitty, and all my A1 day ones, we're not scared to talk about it. So with that being said, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming out. Don't forget to donate to the channel. Money sign Embrace the Grace 23. Gary, again, it was great to see you. We definitely have to catch up. So look for a phone call coming through real soon because we got to catch up. So with that being said, guys, y'all have a good night, and thank y'all for coming out. Peace. Thank you again, Gary.
You know who made it.
Bye.